Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good day so far. Jamie, I guess we can go and get started. Some more people might join in as we go, but super happy that you're here today. If you don't know me, my name is Mackenzie. I'm a Curate Success Manager, so I guide you in like Zoom trainings and things like that. We've also got Jamie from our support team. He'll guide you in chat. So we're going to be walking through all of the newly released features over the last month. So super excited to share some exciting updates and features and cool stuff to share. As we go, if you do have any questions, feel free to jump in to the Q&A box. So at the bottom of your Zoom screen, there is a Q&A box that you can go in and ask any questions. And then you can just leave chat. You can just leave chat as is, but feel free to jump into Q&A, and then we'll get to those at the end when we have time. And then also, you will get a follow-up email with the recording of this webinar for your team. If you want to share it with your team and whoever got signed up, we'll make sure it gets that recording if you need it. But yeah, one more thing is if you see a feature that you really like that when we're chatting, be sure to let us know. We're happy to pass along feedback to our team. I know we're working really hard on getting some awesome features added for you all. So with that said, I'll go ahead and dive in to the pieces that I'll be speaking on, and then I'll pass along to Jamie. But yeah, happy you're here. So the first feature I'm going to go through is in a proposal, and then over here on the table of contents. So you can see there's all these different pieces of the event in this table of contents. We did chat about some aesthetic pieces, colors and fonts and stuff like that last webinar. So if you want to check that out, be sure to find that recording. But we've added the option whenever you click on add content here, you're going to be able to add different covers of inspiration, make it more minimalist, add inspiration boards. We recently added the option to add another cover photo labeled Sprout. So if I click add to proposal, it will get shown at the bottom here. And that's where I can go in and make any edits here. I can add my logo. I can add a nice header photo. I can change up the header label here. And if I do want to move this up to be above something else in my proposal, I'll just grab it and drop it under. So we have added the ability for the Sprout cover. And that's just there if you want to have a nice header photo before any other pieces of your proposal. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is going to be in the Orders tab. So if I click into the Orders tab, you can see where your different sections are and then your line items underneath that section. The thing that we've added recently is if I click into our sections, you're going to see different display options now. So underneath visibility section or settings, you're going to see where you can show quantities of line items, price of line items, subtitles of line items, or you can turn them off. So just using these little toggles on and off, you can decide what you want shown on your different line items underneath this section that I'm working on. The other thing that you can do is decide if you want to center your line item names and descriptions or not as well. So we've definitely added some different capabilities for you to be able to configure how you want your sections and then those line items underneath those sections to be displayed. So really excited about that feature. I personally love to be able to center items. So that is the section display options that we've added. Again, that was if I click into this section title, this pop-up will appear, and then I can see those settings down here. While we're in the orders, the other thing that we've added is if you click on the boxes that appear over on the left-hand side, you can see this little pop-up appears. So you can make bulk edits to these line items in bulk. So if I click on different line items, I can click on the edit button, and it's going to show me where I can change up my status. So I can change different line items to drafts, or maybe a possibility, and then change it back to live if I'd like to. I can also change the quantity in bulk. I can change up different account codes that might be helpful if you have different rental items or inventory items. And then super important is to be able to decide which category you want your line items to have. So just a little background of categories, you will be able to use these in reporting. So if you do add certain categories to different line items, which we highly suggest, you will be able to pull reporting on those. And then you can also add tax rates in bulk. So we have added that functionality where you can click on multiple line items at once using these little boxes that appear on the left-hand side. So I love that. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the recipe view. So there's this recipe view up here underneath the share button, where if you're into building out recipes, whether that be for floral or for catering recipes, we've added a little feature here where, let me find my line item, where if I've added items to my head table centerpiece, for example, and there's photos to those, I can actually add all recipe items to my line item at once. So if you have built out different recipe items and you would like to add those photos with just one click, you can just click add all recipe items to the line item. So that will show up for me. And again, feel free to jump into chat if you have any questions that you want us to cover at the end as well as we go through this. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump back into the portal right here. So right now I'm in orders, I'm gonna go into portal. And one more thing that we've added is being able to edit your event overview details page within the proposal. So if you're unsure what I'm talking about, if I go out to this proposal, there is this event details page that you can build out. This is not customer facing, it's all internal views only. But if you build this out in a nice way, and I go back into that workroom, we've added functionality where I can find those details here. And then the slide out appears. And then I can change and edit my statuses, my customers. I can add my different location, descriptions, and notes and things like that. I can edit my, I just like added my check boxes and all that good stuff. So this little slide out appears, and we've added capability to be able to edit on this slide out within a proposal. So I definitely love that feature. It just makes things a lot easier. You can open the slide out and make the edits that you need. Now we're going to jump back over to the event details page, and we've added an update to the event activity log. So within this event overviews page, there are tabs across the top. In this event activity log, you can see where we've added capability of whenever you send this proposal to your customer from Curate, there's going to be an email sent, and it's going to tell you who it was sent to, when it was sent, the time, and all that good stuff. So it gives you a good timestamp of activity. It also includes other things that have happened within this proposal, but we did add the action of when an email was sent. We're going to go ahead and jump out of a proposal and into the Inquiries tab. So you can find the Inquiries tab here underneath Calendar. And this is where if you want to build out forms and place them on your website, you can have your customers fill out information, and then it will all be fed into Curate. But we're going to locate our forms that we built. And we've added some functionality to where if I find the form I'm looking for, I can look at this three-dotted little icon, and I can copy the link. So I can easily find that link to copy and then send that off to my customer's email. You can send that in a text message. So it's going to show the full form that you've built to your customer. You can easily find those links here. You can also duplicate a form now. So if you have built out a form that you love, you can go ahead and duplicate that, and you can build on, you can use that information in a new form. So you can also duplicate that, and then of course delete. Something that's kind of small that we've added was if I go into the actual form itself, you can see that I can scroll on the left-hand side and start building out my form, but then I can also scroll in the preview as well. So different scrolling functionality over here. I think that's all I had for my updates this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Jamie, and he's gonna lead us through a couple more things and then close this out. So thank you for your time and attention, and go ahead, Jamie.
Alrighty, let me get this shared here, and I will kick into action.
Perfect.
Excellent. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. All right, so Jamie Martin, manager of Curate Customer Support. So I know I've talked to a number of y'all in chat before, so happy to see you on the webinar today. So anyway, so some of the features I wanted to jump into. I'm going to start off with settings. There's a few things in the settings category, branches to be particular. So just like the description states, we had a feature request that we thought made perfect sense. So if you have different physical locations, that's one good example. So for example, we have some grocery stores that have like multiple locations. They wanted a way to be able to segregate each event to a specific location. So we worked on a function, we call it branches. And so that will allow you to do that. So you can create and manage branches such as locations, regions, departments. You can assign specific team members. So if your account is set up to have multiple Curate logins, you can assign those accounts, directly to that person, not only in the form of the event itself, but also as a branch. So this is the screen where you would go to set that up. So as you can see, I have a couple of examples here. I could go in and add another one. And then the way this is displayed on the main events page is we have the branches section along the right side there, just to give a quick visual. So just a quick and easy way to be able to determine like, okay, these 5 events are for location A versus these 5 events are for location B. So that's our first one on my list. And next up, sticking with the settings, I'm going to jump over to notifications next. So we've been hard at work adding a lot of these. I'm in development meetings daily. I know Mackenzie will back me up. And some of our more popular features that we're adding from Curate Classic as well is being able to get notifications for certain things. So we have added some new ones since the last time we spoke. Probably the biggest one is going to be at the bottom of our email notifications page here. So we have send email receipts. So the way this works, you will have to have a digital payment processor set up. So our preferred processor is Stripe. And so once a customer makes a payment through Stripe, it will send a notification to them directly. And then under the little eye icon here, you will also be copied on it. So that's probably the bigger part of the feature request that I know I've seen. So happy to announce that's in place. You can still receive the same email receipts through the payment processor as before, so it will not override that. You can leave that on and have like both variations, but we realized that that was a popular feature, so we wanted to make sure that was in the system. So very happy to have that. Previously, we released some more as well, so just to touch on those for a couple seconds. Sticking with payments, we have payment reminders in there that was covered in a previous webinar. As you can see, we have where you can tie a template to it as well. So we did do some minor adjustments to that as well. You can also include the event owner on that email too. So that way, if you send that out, whomever's the owner of the event would also get a copy of that as well as a reminder. So let me see what else we have. So next up, we have custom properties. So this has been in the system for a little bit now. One of the requests that we got, and I see Wyatt in the chat. This is I know you and I spoke about this one before. The ability to resort these custom properties. That's a big one. So for example, I have a ton in my test instance, as you can see here. So I'm going to take this custom checkbox, just move it up and down the list. So you can do this through the system. I'm getting there we go. I grabbed the wrong one. One of them was a test one I was working on, but we fixed that. So yeah, so you can shuffle them up and down the page as you like. And if you're unfamiliar with custom properties, Mackenzie pointed out the event overview page earlier. So that's actually where these live. So the way this works, it's going to be an adjustment that's made across all of your events. So once you make those changes under custom properties, you can come back over here, refresh the page, and you will see it in action. So for example, I have custom properties. I have a ton once again. So any adjustments I would make would show up here essentially. So it's custom properties. So you can left click, drag and drop now. And then going back to this page here, we showed one bulk update feature earlier in today's call at the line item level. We also made a change at the event page level too. This one I'm really excited about because we're trying to combine like various things in an easier to use form. And so what we've come up with, we have a floating box too on this page. So for example, if I start checking off any of the items here on our events page, you'll notice that we have a new floating bar that will pop up. So some of these items you can get to elsewhere in the system. We actually did away with a drop down that used to be at the top right corner. So if you saw that previously, this is where before you would go and access like your shopping list, event prints, etc., for whether it's like one event or multiple events. So my situation here, I have 4 that's selected. So I could go in and make bulk edits. I can do view prints, and it will show me the details for all of those, and that's going to be the event prints as well as shopping lists. I also have the ability to bulk archive projects as well. So the difference between archive and delete, archive will just simply hide it from the screen for you. So if you have an event that's completed, you could flag it as being archived and it will remove itself from the screen. You can always bring that back through a filter. So if you ever need to revive something, or if you need to circle back and say, well, I worked on this event 6 months ago, I really liked how I did XYZ in that event, you'll still have access to it. So, and then of course delete is delete, so kind of self-explanatory for that. So and then under the more section, that's where it's going to tag into any of your integrations. So integrations are add-on or part of some of the premium packages. So if you're interested in any of the ones that are on the screen here and you don't have access, feel free to reach out to us. I'll show you how to do that towards the end of today's call. But QuickBooks, Galley, Nowsta, Google Calendar, these are the integrations that we have in place today. So if you needed to synchronize any of these events with any of those integrations, that's a good starting point to do so as well. So let me see what else I have. That is it for the main features that we've recently released. I saved a big one for last. This one we are still working on. We're calling it the report AI analysis feature. So I wrote about this in my News Center article last Friday. So if you follow along with those, you may have saw that. If not, I can show you where those are posted. I try to get a post out every Friday, so definitely keep an eye on that. So I'll point out where that is here in a moment. But this is one of the bigger ones that we've been working on for a while. We have our first version of it ready to go. So this is an add-on feature where if you wanted to get further analysis within your events, we're starting to unlock AI abilities. So we have partnered with ChatGPT to be able to do that. So for example, I jumped into one of our demos that has a lot more data than my test account. So I'm just going to type in one of the sample questions there. What's profitable events? And notice I didn't have to generate any of the reports. I can just straight up, type in the question, hit analyze, and we'll give it a second. There we go. So it's giving me a readout. I won't read it verbatim, but in a nutshell, it's going to mention all of my, substantially high profitable events that have taken place. One thing I really like about this too, will give you some tips and tricks occasionally, depending upon the question on like, hey, this event did good. This one didn't do quite as good. This is why. I've seen some of that taking place. So the way this is set up in version 1.0 now is it's very focused on the data that's already in the system. So some of the other questions, what is our best-selling product? How many, payments are due in the next 90 days? These are ones that we've added into the system just for like ease of use. So a lot of the stuff that you can find within the reporting from a question perspective, that's probably the best way to think of it as well. So anything that you can view within, like say events, line items, etc., that should be unlocked immediately with the way it's set up in version 1.0 for the analysis. And then future variations, we're looking at making feature adjustments too as well. So that's where making feature requests is very important. Once again, we'll talk about that towards the end of the call today too. So, but that one we released on Friday, so that's open and out in the wild. If you're interested in that, I can show you how to get in touch with us for that too. And teasers. So that's it for the stuff that has been recently released. I wanted to spend a couple minutes to go through some features that are going to be releasing. One of these definitely later today. So we're about to go into a dev call, myself and some other members of the Curate team to finish some QA testing for our first feature. So this is documents within the event proposal itself. So what this means in a nutshell, if you have like say a seating chart or just additional information that doesn't make sense to have it fully displayed in the event that you're working on, you can upload it as an additional file essentially. And what's cool about this too, it handles tons of different file types. I know we have the main media library that's good for like your photos and stuff. So think of this as your your spot to go to upload additional things. Yes, you can still add photos to this too. So maybe it's a photo that you want to have saved, but not necessarily show in the event. This is a good home for that. This also accepts PDF files, Excel files, text files. And so the way it shows up, it's not going to physically show them. It will just show these icons like we have here. So that is a big pickup, I believe, because I know in a lot of conversations I had in chat, just working through events, this is going to be huge, for quite a few people. Going back to seating charts, that one came up quite a bit, chatting with our folks that work on weddings. So very happy to announce that that's going to be coming. Knock on wood, barring any issues later today, actually. So. And then the next one is we have been working very hard on masonry grids. So we're building these out in two variations. So we have a 3-column variant and a 4-column variant. So for our folks that came over from Curate Classic, this should look familiar as well. This is another feature that we had been working on and wanting to bring over. So this is what the 3-column looks like. I just went ahead and built one out to give a quick visual. And so the cool thing about this, there's the limit of photos. I know with the original inspiration board that's inside the new Curate experience, you were limited to 6. So we did up that limit. So this will allow you to add and add and add and keep adding photos until you have pretty much everything you need. We're still testing theories on our side about what is the magic number as far as like a limitation goes. So right now we don't really have one. But the more photos you add, just keep that in mind. It will take a little bit to load. So we're still doing some fine tuning, but very happy to show this off as well. The way it's set up, I'm just going to click into the 3-column one here. It's going to look very similar to your traditional inspiration board that we've already had in the system. So as you can see here, this is where you can add photos. You can view the photos that are already there. You can still do the same adjustments too. So adjust images, replace images, delete something out. It's only showing one additional image box, but through testing, anytime you go to add one, select image will pop up again. You add another one, select image pops up again. So it's going to be the same for both the 3-column, and below that I do have a 4-column setup as well. And its structure is pretty much the same as well. So as we can see there, you do have the ability to do the color palette as well. If you don't want to do it, you can toggle that off, or if you don't want the header to be visible, you can also toggle that off as well. So, and I think that is it. I'm double checking my notes. Yes, I believe that's the main things I have. So for feature requests, we do have a new feature portal. So I do want to show off where you can go to get additional information about that. This is my chat bubble I always talk about in my training videos that I have hosted in our knowledge base articles. On the homepage, you'll find a link to how to submit feature requests. So we do have a new portal. And so the way that is set up is you can come to the portal, register your account. It is separate from the main Curate account. So that's why if you go to try to log in with your Curate account information, it may not recognize like username and password. So since it's a separate website, just keep that in mind. Just re-register, it's fine. We take a look at your email address and we can, associate those two behind the scenes. So just a heads up on that. But the cool feature with this is not only can you make the feature suggestions straight to our product team, you can also upvote other people's features as well. Because once you're registered, you can come in, you can read through the other messages. And then as we see here, it says, how important is this to you? You can click into the options here and leave a note. And so that's what our product team is looking at. So if you join and you jump on and say, oh, wow, that's a good idea, I didn't think about that. You can, add your name to the mix as well, flag if it's important, critical, etc. Write why it's important if you like to. Just give them kind of a heads up of your personal use case of what you want, whatever the feature is. Then, email address and submit, and that's it. And so that's how you can upvote other people's features as well. So once again, the way to get to that information, let me go back to this. There we go. Is going to be through the chat bubble home, and then click here to how to submit feature requests. And if you have any questions about anything, as always, we have the messages button here, ask a question. Speaking of AI, I did enable a new bot. I've been working feverishly with my team on writing tons of new knowledge base articles, which can be found through the help section. So I do have a bot that will help answer like the more basic questions. So if you come in and say, hey, how do I do XYZ? It's going to scan that question against our knowledge base articles. We've had something like this before in the system for a while, but think of this as kind of like version 2.0. So it will go out and it will do a more thorough data scrape of all of our articles that we have, which will also include like photos and videos, things of that nature that we've also added to those articles. So very happy about that. You will have the ability to override that at any time and still speak to a person. So that's built in. So no worries about that. We're not replacing anybody or anything crazy. So, but very excited. I think it's going to be beneficial to you. We're looking to inject more of that throughout the application as time goes on as well, just to be helpful. So if you're in a new section and we haven't had a chance to do a webinar like this yet, we're opening up more help bubbles that will be integrated with AI to help answer questions on the spot. So more to come on that. Our knowledge base articles are in the help bubble. You can come here to ask any questions. We have all these broken out into various collections. So Event Prints has its own home, navigating the events page, calendar, forms and inquiries, etc. Just to try to make it easier. So we've broken it out into those the subsections there. So. And then lastly, we also have the news section. So I do post weekly updates. I usually try to get them out on Fridays. If we have a big release on Friday, I may postpone it to Monday to make sure I'm able to document everything efficiently. But this is where you can go at any time to view the updates in between these webinars. So in our prep work, we take a look at the articles that have been written to discuss on these meetings in advance to make sure we cover everything. But that is basically it.
Love it.
Check in. Yeah, I think we're good. Affiliates. So if you have anyone else that you think that may be interested in joining Curate, you can get money for that. So we do have an affiliate program. That's also within the help section. So if you go to help and type out affiliate, we have an article explaining how to sign up for that. So easy way to make money. So just want to throw that out there. That's been in place for a little bit now. So I always like to mention that. We have also launched a new Curate community too. We're calling it Curate Circle. I had it pulled up earlier, but I accidentally closed it out. So let me log in real fast. And so what this is in a nutshell, we wanted to give a way for like-minded individuals to have a place where you can go and talk amongst yourselves. Obviously, we're there as well too. So if there's like certain things that I wouldn't really call like a support question, but just if you wanted to share like use cases with each other and just have conversations about how to do like certain things, this is a cool place for that. You can share your wins here. This is also I do have the news center that I just talked about. I'm going to be posting those in this new community as well. So that way you can have interactive conversations about each of the updates as well. So as those get posted on Fridays, you'll be able to jump in, like the ones that you're excited about. The other ones you can leave a comment and say, hey, that sounds awesome. Kind of get a little bit more clarification about XYZ. So really just trying to be more interactive, more available is probably the best way to spin it. So yeah, when you get a chance, check that out. We have that in our news center as well. So I wrote an article about that too. If you're interested, definitely join. It's a free service. If you have any questions about it, jump in chat, let us know. Happy to talk about it anytime. So I believe that's it. So Mackenzie, I will pass it back over to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was some really great new features released and how to stay in touch with the Curate community. So we'll be including a bunch of these different links within the follow-up email that I send, affiliate links and Curate community information. So we'll be sure to have all of that in there. We're just gonna stay on for just about a couple more minutes, 5 more minutes. If you want to jump into Q&A, we can answer any questions that you might have. But feel free to jump off if you wish. We'll just be hanging out for a little bit and just keep a lookout for the